Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the ESL UK Premiership promotional tournament. We're here in our best of three between TCA and XL Esports, and so far it's 1-1. Obviously, TCA didn't quite have their full lineup in the first game, and in the second game, Alco came back into that top lane and really ran away with the game completely.
Yeah, it does turn out that Alco's quite proficient on that rumble. He does in fact play it quite a lot in solo queue. He's very familiar with the champion. And so unsurprising if you know the man, that he's a very talented Rumble player. So interesting to see if he gets that this game.
Absolutely. I would not be surprised in the slightest to see that one banned out. We are already heading into picks and bans, so we'll see if that is going to be a ban that XL go for. But this is, as we say, a best of three. Whoever wins this one is going to be moving through into the full season of the UK Premiership, and not only that, they're going to be netting themselves 275 quid as well, so going to be more than happy with that one. Just before we head straight into picks and bans, massive thank you of course to our sponsors, AOC Monitors, SanDisk and Need for Seat. We wouldn't be able to do this without those guys. But in the picks and bans so far, Lissandra banned out yet again. Fizz, obviously Artorias did an incredible job on that Fizz in the first game. TCA not wanting to go up against that one again. And the Thresh going to be banned away from Bartiono.
Yeah, interesting change up from the side of XL. Decided that they didn't want to have to play against Thresh. I felt like Bartiono was a very solid Thresh, but I didn't feel like he did anything exceptional that would make XL scared of it. So I'm a little bit surprised to see that, but I guess XL have some kind of plan going into this. So we'll see what they decide. And again, a standard Jan. It doesn't look like TCA are actually going to change up any of their bans coming into this game.
So far, everything is a target ban. There's the Rumble ban. Not even remotely surprised by that. The only way that wasn't getting banned is if Artorias wanted to first pick it.
Yeah, definitely.
That was the only scenario there. But everything a target ban so far. Obviously, Janna being banned away from Exabyte. Incredible statistics on that champion from him. Yesterday didn't have a single death on it. But we're just waiting for this last ban. I'm wondering what they're going to go for. Whether they go for another target ban or no. Just going to go for the Sivir. So, I mean, you could argue that it's a target ban, but it would be targeted at every ADC ever. So, you know, very, very strong champion in the current meta. And we're going to see the Rek'Sai first picked again, which is a first pick we've seen quite regularly throughout this tournament.
Yeah, and something that Nesquik also very much enjoys playing. So an
Absolutely.
unsurprising first pick. I guess this was also part of their plan. The reason they didn't want to first pick Rumble was because they knew that they wanted to first pick the Rek'Sai. But it does mean that Nidalee is going to get through, and as well as Lulu. So we know that Lulu is on support. Bartiono has been playing that for the vast majority of this tournament whenever it's been available. So that's going to be in the bottom lane again. And Raisins bringing out Nidalee, first Nidalee of the tournament, and has been argued by some as one of the strongest junglers in the current patch.
Yeah, we've seen it banned out a few times, but we've not yet seen it picked. So excited to see how well this can be used and whether he's going to be able to prowl through the enemy jungle or whether he's going to be running away with his tail between his legs. But the Lulu, now obviously we've seen Bartiono play it in support. I would love to see it go into the hands of Nade Zarrows, just as a kind of, oi Ped, this is how you play Lulu kind of pick. But we are going to see Kalista and Nautilus locked in. So obviously Kalista, incredibly strong AD carry, and Nautilus can be used in the top and in the support roles. So both very good, very strong, and a couple of flexible picks coming through as well.
Yeah, that is a very strong bottom lane. Very nice engage as well. I mean, with the Fate's Call, it can be used very effectively. And it does look like we've got another Ziggs coming out. So another boring mid matchup, I'm expecting. Perhaps Ped might choose to bring out the Ahri again this game. Something that he is very familiar with. And while the wave clear and the shoving from an Ahri isn't as good as a Lulu's, it would still... The high mobility, assassin-style gameplay coming out from an Ahri is something very scary for a Ziggs. And we do see the Jinx now. Not great success for the side of Jokerism. We haven't actually seen a huge amount of success from the champion Jinx this tournament. So we'll see if that changes at all with the Lulu support.
I'd love to see like a Z mid or something. I know it won't happen. I know it won't happen, but I would have loved to see something like that. The Ahri is going to be hovered over. Obviously, again, the Jinx and the Ziggs locked in. We saw them both last time. Play-by-play caster's nightmare with those two ultimate names. This time, at least, they're on the same team.
Yes.
So, likely, their ultimates will be used at the same time, and that way I can't get it wrong. But the Ahri does look... No! Swapped to an Orianna in the last second. So, going for a bit of a sort of team fight composition, really, here. A lot of knockups. Surprised they didn't go for the Yasuo again with the amount of knockups on this squad.
I think they wanted to be a lot safer. With Maokai, it's just a very standard safe top lane that you can't really go wrong with. You can't... I mean, you can feed on a Maokai,
I was going to say, I'll have you know, you haven't seen me play Maokai.
But yeah, that's... yeah, it's generally considered a fairly safe top lane. It's still very meta, and their comp is just very all-round. You know, you've got very good team fight. You've got... the split push is okay from Maokai. Maokai can definitely apply some pressure if he gets ahead. But definitely XL going for a very strong team fight composition this game. The thing that worries me is the fact that they've gone with the Orianna. Now, I personally don't like Orianna. But the reason I don't like Orianna is because once her flash is down, she's very easy to kill. She relies very heavily on that flash. She has very few disengage. I mean, if you think about Victor and Azir, both have fairly reliable crowd control abilities and dashes that enable them to escape danger, whereas Orianna doesn't have any of that. She's a very sit at the backline, damage-heavy mage. So if her flash ever gets burnt, I'm a little worried about the amount of pressure that Razans can apply, and the fact that they have Gnar means that if he's slightly out of position, he could end up face full of wall dirt.
He certainly could. Sure, he won't mind too much as Orianna is a robot and won't mind that bit of dirt on her face. But conversely, or adversely, or whichever versely, absolutely love Orianna.
You do love Orianna?
I love Orianna, but I just love it's kind of like the Rumble pick in that when you get ganked, if you play it correctly, you can definitely go for those sort of 2v1s with that ultimate. You can pull people underneath the tower, and there's a huge amount of burst damage that can come out on that champion. And I like the utility that she brings into a fight as well. But looking across the two lineups right now, both of them seem to be fairly reliant on team fighting, which... generally speaking, when you see both teamfight comps coming out, tends to lead to a very explosive game. And now, when you have the ultimates like the Jinx, like the Ziggs ultimates, typically it's going to be an explosive game anyway, just because of the explosions. But with the Gnar ultimate, with Nidalee, tends to be almost always aggressive. Like, if you're playing the Nidalee and you're not being aggressive, then you should just play something else. Play something with Devour, rather than going for that very aggressive early game champion. But I want to see how the jungle pans out, because both Nidalee and Rek'Sai can be very, very aggressive, and I want to see which of these two is going to sort of manage to take an edge in the early game.
Yeah, we do know Nesquik he has had fairly decent early aggression throughout the tournament, but he's been better at reactive ganks. He's identified which lane is likely to be ganked, and he's always been around the area and counter-ganked fairly quickly. So while we may see a lot of early presence from Razans on Nidalee, I do expect Nesquik to communicate very well with his team and respond accordingly to help his team out through this early game period. But the one lane, again, I'm worried about is that top lane, because Artorias is now less on a carry and more on a tank, and I have full faith in his ability to play Maokai, just like I have faith in any top laner's favourite champion, Maokai. But Gnar is considered a fairly strong pick into it, because you effectively give Gnar a free lane, and the current meta build for Gnar is the Frozen Mallet into Black Cleaver, so that is a very strong build, very good at kiting, and
a lot of damage as well.
A large amount of damage, so we'll have to see how that matchup goes in the top. Meanwhile, I don't expect much again from the bot and the mid. Hopefully, the bot lane from XL have recognised the mistakes that they made in the last two games. They were caught out of position once or twice, which really put them behind and enabled a lot of pressure to be applied throughout the rest of the map. So hopefully they've recognised what they were doing wrong, they've sorted out their problems, and they'll be looking a lot stronger this game.
Well, they should be doing a little bit better this game, because if you look at the matchup right now, Jinx and Lulu isn't exactly hard engage.
No.
So So long as they don't misplay pretty dramatically, they shouldn't be really under too much pressure aside from Raisins ganking from the jungle. So they should be able to just keep on farming up and try and at least stay even with the TCA bot lane. And with Exabyte on the Nautilus and a Callista, early game they are going to have a lot of power behind them. So possibly if they can find the right opportunity, they might be able to catch the TCA bot lane out and maybe even take the lead in that lane, which is something we haven't actually seen so far this series.
The interesting thing is whether or not they can get that early level 2, because if they can force the early level 2 and force a fight in the bot lane, they're definitely going to win, because with the passive from Sentinel on Callista applying, I believe, 12% max HP damage at level 1, and with the stacking rend, they can definitely get a huge amount of damage on top of the crowd control coming out from Nautilus. So we will have to see how they choose to play this bot lane matchup.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll see if they're going to be able to take the lead, if they're going to be able to break the stereotype that we've seen happen in these games so far. But ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the Rift. On the blue side, once again, we're going to have XL Esports Artorias up in the top lane playing that tree. In the jungle, we're going to have Nesquik on his second account today. He's going to be playing... Oh, actually, we have a vote. I'm just going to completely interrupt myself. 77% of people have voted for XL Esports in this series. Make sure you let us know what your vote is. The link will be in Twitch chat, but in the mid lane, anyway, I'll just continue where I left off. In the mid lane, we have Ped playing the Orianna, one of my favourite champions to watch, and with the TPA skin as well, which is fantastic skin. I like the spiked skirt. It's fantastic. Anyway, Joker is going to be playing the AD carry, and Exabyte going to be playing that Nautilus Supportalus.
Yeah, meanwhile, on the other side of TCA, they will be on the red side this game, where they face their first loss. But they do have Alco in the top lane back again for the final game of the series. Most important game, I would argue, are playing on the Gnar in the top lane. They do have Nidalee as well in the jungle. Raisins will be playing that. In the mid lane, Nades are us playing Ziggs. Very farm-heavy centric lane. Meanwhile, we have TCA Jakamaka and Bartiono with Jinx and Lulu respectively. Something we have seen a lot of is the Jinx from Bartiono, something we've already touched on, and it'll be interesting to see how that combination with Lulu works out for them.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to get that one rocking and rolling again. Bartiono on this Lulu has been doing an excellent job so far this tournament. We'll see if he can keep it up. And again, something we've seen throughout this tournament so far is just completely standard level 1s. Nothing really too crazy going off. Nobody wanting to risk anything. And I think in a game like this, where it's sort of the last of the best of 3, whoever wins this gets through into the actual tournament itself, into the major season, it's just too important to risk anything crazy at level 1.
Yeah, well, at this point, I imagine that the players aren't even thinking about it as a best of 3. To them, this is just a best of 1. Yeah. The other games don't even matter. They've probably, at this point, already forgotten about them. This is a brand new game to them. Effectively, the first time they're playing these guys. And they're going in, hopefully, both teams going in with a very fresh mind, going in with the idea that, right, this is a best of 1. We just need to beat these guys once, and then we'll manage to get through. We'll get that fantastic £275 prize, and we'll also get a spot in the ESL UK Premiership. So we can already see early push, very early push coming out from the side of XL. They're going to very quickly get level 2, and I wonder if they're going to go aggressive onto the bot lane.
They're certainly looking for it. Exabyte is at very least going to be able to zone away the bottom lane of TCA, who are going to unfortunately miss a couple of CS to this. Unfortunately, not really going to be able to go anywhere near with a Nautilus around, who lands the dredge line. American sniper there onto the back line. Jakamaka takes that one to the face, but fairly even trade realistically across that bottom lane. And they had hit level 2 just as that hook landed, so yeah, nothing too massive in favour of XL there.
Now, fairly decent trade from both sides. Jokerism and Jakamaka taking a fair chunk of damage, but we can see now that Raisins has completed both of his double buffs, and he might be looking to head towards the bottom lane. Same for Nesquik, though. He's just about to complete his red buff, and I wonder where both junglers will start applying their early pressure.
Yeah, and both of these junglers have been sort of very regularly going for this early pressure, going for those ganks. They spot each other out. Although Nesquik hasn't been seen just yet, knows the enemy is on that tremor sense. And we see Raisins just deciding to back away from this one, throwing that spear over at the wolf. Cat versus wolf right now. It really is a dog eat cat, cat eat dog jungle right now, as we see Rek'Sai entering the bot lane. I'll just completely segue away from that one. And Exabyte and Jokerism have been pushing up this bottom lane, so I don't know if there's really much of an opportunity for a gank here.
Meanwhile, in the middle lane, farming as predicted. Not really surprised, but we do see Raisins hovering around the bottom lane and Nesquik, so we're going to have a bit of action here. Hook lands!
Yeah, Bartiono going to be the focus target. Already the heal comes out, but Nesquik tunnels into the Flame Chompers, and now Raisins trying to escape from this one. Has to use his flash. Nesquik doing a lot of damage to Bartiono, who escapes on just 100 HP. Jakamaka trying to do what he can, but everybody going to get away with their lives from this one. A few summoners burnt, but nobody too injured.
Yeah, we did see flashes coming out from both the junglers in that fight. Nice response again from Nesquik. We did say very early on that Nesquik is very reactive. He predicted that Nidalee might go bottom, and he reacted very, very quickly. Meanwhile, another gank in the bot!
Nesquik comes in. He's going to be able to... No, doesn't get the knock up onto Bartiono. R.I.P.
They do get the double flash.
That nerf really hurt Rek'Sai apparently. Without the nerf, he would have got the kill there. Unfortunate. Obviously, the knock-up radius
Meanwhile, in top
gets shrunk, but up in the top lane, Artorias may well be going down. Oh, he flashes away. The auto attack is cancelled, and Alco can't quite get it. Dodges away from that clock tower, and Artorias gonna live another day on that tree.
Yeah, he manages to get the slight heal from his passive, preventing himself from dying. He does lose his flash, however, which is not great. So he's being forced back, but this is expected from the Gnar lane. Realistically, it doesn't matter if he falls behind a little bit in the early game, because at the end of the day, Maokai will always be useful as long as he has a few of his items. So still doing okay in the top lane. Meanwhile, we finally see a nice CS lead for XL's bot lane. Nice to finally see them having a favourable early game instead of their usual fairly poor start, but this is all due to the pressure being applied from Nesquik. Now absolutely no summoners from the TCA bot lane, which means that Nesquik may look to apply a bit more pressure there. Meanwhile, we do see Raisins moving to the top side.
We certainly do, and Artorias already 10 CS behind. He could fall even further behind. Meganar is about to come out. Level 6 has been hit. Artorias, he knows something's going on, decides to back away. Nesquik, sorry. He is hanging around on this Rek'Sai, but I don't...
Ult is up in top.
He's going to be going in on this one. Alco doesn't even need a jungler. Picks up the first blood. That's a super mega Inferno bomb onto Nesquik, who's just going to have to back away from this top tower.
Yeah, bit of a misplay there from Artorias. He should have respected the fact that Alco was level 6, had his ultimate available, and how close he was to the wall. Unfortunately, that's going to give a first blood over to Alco and a 20 CS lead, so really not having a great start on that Maokai against the Gnar.
Yeah, and look at this from Raisins as well. He knows blue buff is going to be spawning any second now, and he's just going to wait around this side of the jungle, trying to punish Nesquik for going up to that top lane and then having to base. But across the board, it's looking still fairly even. 1,000 gold lead in favour of TCA. Obviously, that kill onto the Gnar is going to do wonders for them and actually double the CS up in this top lane. Artorias, again, not having a great game up against Alco, who's just consistently showing that he is a fantastic top laner.
Yeah, we can see that Artorias decided to save his teleport in the event that it needs to be used bot lane, which is very selfless of him, rather than use it to try and get back into lane and regain some of his CS. He is going to hold on to it, which is going to do him a lot of favour. Meanwhile, Alco now picking up his Hex Drinker, which is going to mean that Artorias is not going to be able to do any damage to him at this point with that level of early magic resist. Meanwhile, hook lands onto Jakamaka.
Jakamaka could be in trouble. There's the Flame Chompers, but it's not going to connect as Bartiono gets caught by the staggering blows. The Rend is stacking up. One more impale. No, they don't have the damage. Exabyte just sidestepping that zap, and they're all going to be able to get away from this one safely.
Yeah, they are slowly heading towards that level 6, but a nice chunk onto Barciono means that he's going to be pretty low, so very nice CS lead building now in the bottom lane, which is exactly what XL need, considering that Artorias is falling slightly behind.
Yeah, and a very similar CS deficit in that bottom lane to what is happening up in the top lane, so that should keep the gold relatively even in regards to that. Just the first blood really being the major factor right now, and obviously no assists across the board either, as it was just Alco picking up that 1v1 kill.
So really interestingly thing that I'd like to bring up is the fact that we can see a tear coming out from Ped on Orianna. Now, for those that might not know, with the item changes, it means that actually if you go Seraph's Embrace into the a damage item such as Morel and Omicron, it actually gives you a lot more ability power than traditionally would. So it's not. It also means that he'll get a massive shield, which will help him in these team fights where people are going to be diving on his face and trying to get as much damage down as possible. So I can understand where the tier is coming out from. You do often spam your abilities while playing Orianna, so it's not that uncommon. He would likely be able to charge that fairly quickly. And I do apologize. We did jump into a brief pause because of a bit of issues, technical internet issues.
You don't have to apologise. You don't have to apologise for the players. It's fine.
Yeah,
but we are going to be back onto the Rift again. Paused for a little bit of lag. One of the players is suffering, so I'm going to be able to get back onto Summoner's Rift, where Jokerism is starting to push down towards this bottom lane tower.
Yeah, they are level 6, but unfortunately TCA under the tower, so they can't take much of an advantage from that. Meanwhile, heading over up in the top lane, you can see Alco sitting in the bush. Artorias does predict it though, going a bit aggressive.
They are indeed. Alco going to be able to proc that Hyper, but a decent trade for Artorias despite the item advantage in favour of Alco, so getting a little bit of an edge in that one. But with the sustain on the side of Artorias, the longer this lane goes on, he should be able to start to fare a little bit better than he has been doing so far. Should be able to stay relatively even up against that Gnar. But we do just see fairly uneventful early games so far, really. 10 minutes into the game, only 1 kill on the board, no towers going down. And we see, despite the Nidley...
Oh, the ultimate in top lane.
The ultimate... Oh, Artorias. As soon as that... See, this is the caster's curse. I was like, oh no, he's going to be perfectly fine. He's going to be safe. And then immediately, Alco goes... I don't care what champion I'm playing. I don't care what champion I'm against. I'm just going to win the game anyway. Yeah,
with the item advantage as well as the level advantage, he had his flash down. He thought that he could get away, but Alco played it well, denied his escape route. Meanwhile, we do see a bit of aggression going towards bot lane, but no, they're not going to force anything. But losing that much pressure in the top lane is really going to... Meanwhile, in the bot...
A really nice dredge line onto Exabyte. That is going to be
TP.
The depth charge, but the flash comes out as the Wild Growth gets a knock up onto 2. Alco has just arrived. Jokerism incredibly low. One more auto will finish him off, and Alco is going to be the one to throw it. Exabyte now going to be the focus target as Artorias looks to try and finish off Jakamaka. Does he have the damage? The Vengeful Maelstrom isn't quite enough. He's looking for the Twisted Advance, gets the Arcane Smash, and he is probably going to be going down for it as well, as Ziggs has arrived in this bottom lane. Alco now in a 2v1, but he dodges away from the shockwave. What a beautiful jump, and now Ped is in. He's the last man standing. He's going to be going down. Double kill comes through for Alco. 3 kills across the fight, and suddenly this top laner yet again 5-0-1.
Yeah, Alco being massive in that bot lane fight, TPing down immediately when he sees the bot lane going aggressive. You can see here that Exabyte lands the dredge line onto Jakamaka. The fight starts immediately. The trade is going in their favor. They then TP immediately. You do see the counter TP coming from the side of XL. They do start the fight, but Jokerism just can't get away from Alco. He bounces off the top of Bartiono's head, picks up the first kill of the game. Meanwhile, Artorias, thanks to the shield from Bartiono, keeps Jakamaka alive long enough for Artorias have to dive to pick up the kill. So he does dive, get the kill, but it means that Bartiono can get a reverse kill thanks to the damage of the tower. Meanwhile, while all of that is going on, down in the bottom half, we can see that Ped unfortunately misses the shockwave onto Alco. Nade'Zarus manages to rotate down with Alco, provide enough support to enable them to pick up 3 kills overall. So that was actually an ace in the favor of TCA. They're now 7-1 in kills and have a 5,000 gold lead. This really means that they're going to be extremely strong coming into the mid game, especially around this Drake.
Yeah, and I really feel like the reason that first 10 minutes was...
Oh, Fate's call in the bottom lane.
Oh, in the bottom lane. We are going to see them going in onto Jakamaka. Are they going to be able to finish this one off? The Rend is stacking up. They should be able to finish off the AD carry. They do. Jokerism picking up his first kill of the game. His first much-needed kill of the game.
Yeah, it does appear that Bartiono had rotated round to the mid lane to help pick up that tower. Meanwhile, Alco going a little bit aggressive top lane, but I don't think there's much going to come of it. But yeah, but with Bartiono not in the bottom lane, it means that Jakamaka was slightly out of position, didn't respect the engage from Xby. Meanwhile, a bit of aggression in the bottom.
There is indeed. As we see, Raisins has arrived. Jokerism going to be slowed down, but they should be able to get away with this one. Dredgeline onto the tower. Going to get away safely, but Artorias might not be as lucky as the Hyper is going to be procced. Meganar is going to be coming up any second now. One more auto attack. He's going to jump under the tower. He's going to be able to get the wallop. There's the Gnar. There's the last auto attack, and Alco just solo diving against Artorias, and there's nothing that this tree can do.
Yeah, now that he's completed his Maw of Malmortius and the Phage, he's just doing a ridiculous amount of damage, and he's just snowballing the game. Having brought Alco back in has been the biggest change for TCA. He is solo carrying their game again. Last game he had a fantastic performance on Rubble, and this game he's having a fantastic performance on Gnar. Really playing very well this game, so very impressive performance from Alco, and unless they find a way to deal with him soon, he's going to snowball out of control, and TCA are going to take the victory.
Honestly, I'm considering asking Alco to GOQ with me right now, because this guy is carrying every single game single-handedly. I'm sure he is an MMR god, but we do see Jokerism just trying to get as much farm as he can. Alco finally taking away that top tower, which is not good news for XL, because that means he can just go all the way around the map whenever he wants to now. No reason to just stay in that 1v1 scenario.
Yeah, with that top tower taken, they do extend their gold lead to 6,000. 2 towers on the side of TCA over XL, but it's very important to say that it's not completely over yet for XL. While they are very far behind in this early game, it doesn't mean the game's completely. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, aggression from Nesquik.
That is indeed Bartiono in a lot of trouble right now, and Joker isn't picking up his second kill of the game. So, as you say, game definitely not over just yet. XL's bottom lane is doing incredibly well. Unfortunately, not quite as well as Alco is doing, but they are still going to be a shining light for XL right now.
Yeah, meanwhile, aggression in the mid.
There is indeed. Ped could be in trouble here, but not as much as Nades as Nesquik has to peel away from this Orianna. Ped going to be going down. Raisins has to use his Primal Surge onto himself, and Nesquik just doesn't have the damage to finish Raisins off. Or does he? He's going back in, but the flash comes out from the Nidalee. There's the double kill with the Javelin toss. And Raisins positioning perfectly there.
Yeah, you could see there that earlier on, at the start of that fight, Ped did not have his ultimate available. If he did, that fight could have gone so well for them, but Ped takes so much damage from the Mega Inferno Bomb from Nades, meaning Raisins can initially pick up the kill. At this point, Nesquik should have disengaged, but he felt like he could get the pickup onto Raisins. A beautiful flash coming out from Raisins prevents Nesquik from picking up the kill, meaning they now get an extra tower in the middle lane as well as 2 kills. So TCA snowballing this early advantage that they've already gained.
Yeah, honestly, they are snowballing so... I think this is one of the hardest snowballs we've seen. Well, it's definitely the hardest we've seen today. One of the hardest so far this tournament. And right now, the Terracotta army looking more like the Terracotta SAS, because they are just dismantling XL piece by piece. And certainly looking to take themselves this best of 3. XL obviously denying their entry to the UK Premiership last time, and they're looking to do the same to their opponents. Obviously, XL, should they lose this game... Oh, actually, the face call going down in the bottom lane. There's the depth charge onto Jakamaka, and they're looking to snowball Jokerism even further. But that is going to be the Wild Growth teleporting, coming through from Alco, and he's going to pick up a kill onto Jokerism. Alco is not messing around this game. He's looking for the Mega now. He's looking for the ultimate as Exabyte, taking a rocket to the face there. The slow comes down onto Artorias. Mega Death Rocket burned. That's going to be the bomb as well as Artorias jumps in, gets the shockwave onto 3. That's a Prey Seeker to pick up 1 kill. But is it enough as the Gnar comes through? Ped flashing away from that one, shielding himself, and it's going to turn into a 1 for 2 in favor of TCA.
Yeah, we can see there, again, really nice engages from the bottom lane, but quick, decisive TPs from the side of Alco. Aggression still going on from Raisins, though.
He's looking for more. I don't think he's going to quite be able to find it, though. He's going to be able to proxy this wave and guarantee them that bottom lane tower, though. TCA just running away with this game.
Yeah, at this point, while that was a decent comeback for XL, the fact that they're so far behind in gold prevented them from being able to pick up a solid fight there. So, unfortunate from XL. I do believe that was a 1 for 0 in the favor of TCA, but we will be able to see in just a little bit. Hopefully, we can get a replay up on our screen to run through that team fight again. But we could see the biggest thing was the response from Alco. He had a beautiful TP once again, which enabled the pickup onto Jokerism. And Jokerism, being the biggest player on the side of XL, prevented them from... Basically, they lost so much damage extremely quickly. Meanwhile, Alco going aggressive onto Nesquik.
He certainly is, and he's looking for that opportunity. Throws the clock tower over the wall, picks up a kill. Bartiono, at the meantime, is going onto Ped, and Artorias trying to peel away from this mid laner. The bomb comes through from Ziggs, but it's not going to land anywhere near right now, as Artorias is in a whole heap of trouble. Alco jumps over his head, but may well get taken down as the wild growth comes through. That's going to save that top laner, and they pick up 2 kills basically for free.
Yeah, again, nice play by Alco. His lead really showing now with the Black Cleaver completed, as well as the Maw of Malmortius. His damage is beyond controllable. 9,000 gold lead at the 18-minute mark. Unfortunately, I wasn't expecting. We had a very strong performance from XL in the first game, and a relatively close game.
Max range stretch line there. Yeah, while that last fight was going off, we saw, well, we didn't see, Jakamaka actually picked up kill onto Jokerism as well.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Oh, actually, no, it wasn't Jakamaka. I'm not sure who got the kill. Someone got a kill.
I believe it was Nidalee.
It must have been. Must have been.
4-0 Nidalee now, especially. Oh, meanwhile, they all sit in the brush. Nesquik does spot them out.
Yeah, that Tremor Sense going to be able to see them running away from that bush, but Nesquik isn't going to be as lucky as to run away from this one as the spear lands. There's the rocket coming through, and they pick up yet another kill. Exabyte going to be saved by that Fate's Call, as Raisins is looking to make sure he doesn't get away. Not quite going to land the spear. There's the Mega Death Bomb, Mega Inferno Bomb. This is what I was talking about. The names are almost the same, but they do manage to pick up yet another kill and put so much pressure onto this bottom lane tier 2.
Yeah, we'll have to see now what they do. They could just keep Alco split pushing, as we've already identified. No one from the side of XL can 1v1 him. So we'll have to see what options they choose to go for. As I was saying, they're going to pick up a Drake, which means that will be their second Drake of the game already. It's hard to believe, really, that already they're getting, with an 11,000 gold lead, it's only now getting the second Drake. It feels like the game's accelerated at an unbelievable pace compared to the last 2 games that we've already had.
Honestly, I'm pretty surprised at how far ahead they are right now. 11,000 gold, as you say, 5 towers to 1, 2 Drakes to 0. It's certainly not looking good for the XL lineup. Right now, TCA on 4 times the amount of kills, and Alco is looking to extend that lead. Oh, the Pocket Watch, though, getting denied by that caster minion, sacrificing himself selflessly to save his mid laner. So, hero minion there, going to keep Ped alive. Obviously, Ped did still have the heal, had his shockwave, so could have got away with that one anyway, potentially. So...
Yeah, we really haven't talked much about the mid lane, but unfortunately there just hasn't been much to say. Mostly, Nade, Zoras and Ped have been riding on the success of their team. All of their damage has basically been support damage from the leads that Alco and Jakamaka have been able to build well. So Artorias is slightly caught out in the jungle.
He is indeed. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get away from this on the satchel charge. He's going to be used just to keep him there as Nazaros picks up a kill. Now Ped is going to be going down as well. Raisin's just dropping his health bar, using that Primal Surge on himself to get away on a half of his HP as Bartiono gets caught by the dredge line. This is going to turn into a double kill. It's looking to be a triple for the Nidalee. No, Nazaros picks up yet another one, but Jokerism might not be so lucky as to escape as Alco just hops over the wall. He's not afraid of anything. Picks up the ace. And Alco 10-0 and 2 on that Gnar.
Very impressive performance. We can see on the replay that Artorias goes in, but I think he believes his team is closer than they actually are. Really nice flash engage, manages to pick off Ped before he has a chance to use his ultimate. Meanwhile, this is the game-changing part here. The fact that Jokerism gets polymorphed for a ridiculous amount of time. You can see he's just sitting there throwing absolutely no damage out, giving Alco enough time to catch up and for TCA to be able to take out the rest of XL. At this point, it's just clean up. They do manage to pick up the kill onto Jokerism, and while all that's happening, they do get an inhibitor in the mid lane. So at this point now, with a 15,000 gold lead, I very much doubt that XL can bring it back, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, it's certainly starting to feel that way, and TCA putting on such a strong showing in this game. And I mean, really, so far, this has just been... Since Game 2, this has been the Alco show.
Definitely.
He's just been taking these games away with himself. And, I mean, look at his build right now. He's going for a BF sword on Gnar. That's not something that you see very often. Also, with the recurve bow, could well be going towards that that milk build where you go for the the Hurricane on the Gnar, going for that crazy attack speed and getting the hyper stacks onto multiple members. Little bit of a less than serious build coming out from Alco, but certainly a build that can carry the game.
Yeah, I think he believes now that just because of the level advantage that he has on all of the players of XL, as well as the item advantage, he can afford to go for this slightly greedy build. And because of how naturally tanky he is, thanks to his Mega Gnar, he should be getting a large amount of damage down, as well as be a formidable frontline, especially with the support that Bartiono can provide with the form of Wild Growth and the shields that Bartiono does put on.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alco, this game, just constantly looking for action. He's just walking around the enemy jungle wherever he wants to go right now. And there's not really anything that XL can do about that one. Jakamaka going to grab away the XL blue buff. And immediately we see TCA kicking off this Baron. And realistically, there's very little that XL can do about this one. And the teleport is going to come through. Just pretty much over the wall there from Artorias.
Jakamaka in the pit, though.
Yeah, Jakamaka incredibly low, as is Raisins. Exabyte looking for the engage, but the Polymorph comes through. Nate Zaros going to be aggressive upon. There's a nice shockwave onto 2, but can they capitalize on this one? Nate Zaros going to jump to the backline as Ped falls. Now Exabyte is all on his own. He's been left out to dry, and that is a double kill coming through for Raisins. In the meantime, Alco just goes crazy and solos someone once again. And now Jokerism narrowly dodging the spear and the pocket watch there, as Raisins is not looking to let this AD carry get away. He throws another spear. It's not quite going to land. There's the Runeglaive. One more attack will finish him off, but can anyone land it? The fancy feet on Jokerism might just get him to safety, but Nate Zaros finally throws out the last bomb. And this could well be game. 8 seconds until this Orianna respawns, and they need someone up sooner than that, because that is the first tower down. This is going to be the second one, and that is going to be the Nexus falling, guaranteeing TCA a spot in the UK Premiership.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Congratulations to TCA. Very dominating performance in that final game, heavily as a result of Alco's performance in the top lane. Very impressive on the Rumble, very impressive on the Gnar. You can see that Alco will definitely be a top tier top laner in the UK ESL Premiership coming within the next few weeks. So I look forward to seeing more from this TCA lineup.
Absolutely. I cannot wait now to see the Newell lineup versus the TCA lineup. Assuming that the Newell make it into the tournament. I wish that had been one of the semi-finals, because, I mean, Trash Club Billy is an incredibly good top laner, and Alco has just proved himself to be the same. So I would love to see who wins out that matchup, and both of them love to play those carry top laners. So we'll have to see in the future, potentially. But we are going to head into a short break. We are going to be seeing Billy coming up, though, as we head into our second matchup of the day. It's going to be Pariah G versus the Newell squad. That'll be coming up in just a few minutes for you guys. We are going to head into a short break, though. So congratulations to TCA, commiserations to XL. They're going to go into the lower brackets, and they'll be playing next weekend to try and secure their spot. But do not go anywhere. We'll be back with the Newell versus Pariah G in just a few minutes.
It's like nothing you'll ever experience.